Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. I just want you to feel heartened. I'm watching some new videos by YouTube handle Cuck Philosophy, and he's doing a critique of Stephen Hicks explaining postmodernism, which is annoying already off the bat. But I wanted to hearten you with the fact that their side is picking on each other in a disgusting civil war. And it reminds me of the stories that I have read about Germany as the Allies advanced. And the Russians were coming in from one direction, and the Americans were coming in from the other direction, and what was going on inside that area. The authority of the state itself had collapsed, and weapons were everywhere, everywhere. And people were fighting each other for power, so that they would have their power stronghold, and then when the Allied armies swept across them, they would hopefully hold on to their stronghold in the post-war world, whatever it was. And so there were people fighting each other, with the Russians shooting at all of them as they advanced. There were people killing each other, Germans, Czechs, Polish, fighting civil wars as the Russians advanced on them. Meanwhile, groups of people were hiding throughout Berlin, and SS officers were running around with Panzerfaust, tank bazookas, and killing people in large groups, whoever they found hiding anywhere. In one instance, a guy came and said, "Are there any soldiers in there?" Because if there are soldiers in there, they have to be on the front lines. They can't be hiding. So if there are soldiers in there, the women and children he could see in there. He asked the women and children, "Are there soldiers in there?" And while he's asking that, a soldier came up behind him and shot him in the back of the head. So that's what was going on. Those were the people that we were attacking. Those are the people we were bombing. That's what they were doing. So, absolute chaos. Right now, the left is under attack and it's atrophying. Right? They're attacking each other. They're kicking each other out. People are fleeing. There's the left exit. And what are they doing? Here we got, who is it? Stephen Hicks now is quoting this lady who's a postmodernist, and she's a feminist. Now, Cuck Philosophy disavows feminism. It's not part of his gang. Separate gang doing separate stuff from the Marxists. That's how confused he is. He's like one of those guys, one of those German soldiers running around with a Panzerfaust killing women and children. He doesn't know who his enemies are or were, and he's a terrible person to begin with. But here he is. She's finishing her quote.
Subordinated, because it is only in social reality that human violation takes place, can be known, and can be stopped.
Now, she is critical of postmodernism because it says there's no reality. And she says that's where violations of human dignity or whatever, freedom, back relations, subordinated, because social reality, human violation. It doesn't say what's violated, just the violation of the human. Thanks a lot, guys. Human violation takes place, right? Human violation takes place in a real reality with push and shove and actual rocks and stones and stuff. And postmodernism vitiates human rights to the extent it erects itself on a lack of relation to the realities. So she is a feminist who is pointing out what's going wrong in postmodernism, and she, as per Cuck Philosophy, she is a separate entity from postmodernism and from Marxists. Because there's this little bit of infighting where one of them says there's no reality and the other one's trying to say, yes, there is. That's where human rights are violated in all of our theories, remember? Remember our theories of Marxism where human rights get violated? You remember those theories? They happen in a reality. Why are you guys saying there's no reality? She's just a Marxist, communist, feminist cuck. Right? Well, can you be a girl cuck? Yeah, you can, right? That's the cuck thing. I don't know what a cuck is really, but... So she's saying, let's remember there's a reality, guys. Hello? And Cuck Philosophy says, don't worry about that stupid bitch. She's off doing her own thing called feminism. We're not worried about her. And why is Stephen Hicks bringing her up in a discussion about postmodernism. That's what Cuck philosophy says. Why would we bring her up in a discussion of postmodernism, he says? Because she is a feminist. She is not a postmodernist.
So already on the first page, while listing what he perceives to be postmodernism's main theorists, he, with no explanation, lists two women who are critics of postmodernism.
You see that? If Stephen Hicks knew his stuff, he would realize that these feminists criticize postmodernism. They're not fans of postmodernism. They're certainly not in the camp of postmodernism, are they? Anything that they say, then, is not valid as far as postmodernism goes. And anybody who quotes them as being valid as far as postmodernism goes doesn't know what they're talking about, and we can dismiss them as stupid. Okay? You see how terrible this guy, Cuck philosophy, is? He says, because there's disagreement and discussion within the postmodernist camp, and one of those groups is feminists, and because they question some of the stuff in the camp, therefore, they are not part of the camp, and anyone who thinks they're part of the camp doesn't have any idea what's going on. Cuck philosophy. He's going to be fun. We're going to get more into him. This is just a teaser